Coming to you virtually from enchanting Duluth, Minnesota, this is Holidays with your hostesses with the mostesses, Kendra Carlson and Julie Acey.
Hey, Kendra.
Hey, Julie.
Welcome back, everybody, to day 2 of the Holiday Spectacular Extravaganza Pageant Virtual Edition. Kendra, what do we got tonight?
Tonight we have a song that was rewritten with lyrics by Sramek, featuring the dulcet tones of David Greenberg, your Hanukkah song.
Oh, then we have a reading by the very first ever Poet Laureate of Duluth, Bart Sutter.
Oh, and then finally, we will have a guided meditation of sorts from Ignite Studios' Christine Pfeiffer Stocke, called Ho Ho Ho, Let It All Go.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's a little bit funny, this holiday scene. They've got Santa, we've got brisket, and it's not red or green. They sing about holly, jingle bells on Christmas Day. I'm stuck with this dreidel, it's made out of clay. If I were a doctor, well, then again, no. Sorry, Mom, I'm just a singer in a musical show. I know it's not much, but it's the best that I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for the Jews. I'm gonna sing everybody this Hanukkah song. It may be quite simple, but it does last 8 days long. It's not a carol, it's not a carol, it's just music and words for people whose names end with Stein or with Berg. I grated potatoes and I measured out oil, but it's hard to compete with all of that tinsel and foil. See, the sun gets so dark at this time of year. It's no wonder those pagans need some good holiday cheer. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do. Is it or is it and is it 1K or 2? And are they schnecken or rugula? Anyway, what I really mean, this candle's the sweetest light that I've ever seen. And I'm gonna tell everybody this Hanukkah song. It may be quite simple, but it does last 8 days long. It's not a carol, it's not a carol, it's just music and words for people whose names end with Stein or with Berg. It's not a carol, it's not a carol, it's just music and words. A light in the darkness, a light in the world.
A Christmas card. Christmas cards are highly disposable items, so it seems somewhat surprising that my grandmother preserved one Christmas card for 60 years and passed it on to me before she died. I'm even more surprised to find I count this Christmas card as one of my most prized possessions. My grandma Eastman spent her later years in a Minneapolis high-rise, but lived most of her life in Duluth. I stopped for coffee at her tiny high-rise apartment fairly often, and especially after I had moved up north, I pestered her for stories about the old days in Duluth. Graham had a fine appreciation for quirky characters, and one afternoon she got to talking about that Swedish painter we used to know. When I pressed her, she remembered that his name was Heldner, Knut Heldner. By this time, I knew that Knut Heldner was about the only noteworthy artist Duluth had ever produced, and I was flabbergasted that my grandparents, who were distinctly working class, had actually known him. But Graham not only had all kinds of details on the man. He'd bought a used car from my grandparents. His wife had a French name. They lived in a loft downtown. He was shy and wild, but like my grandmother's pumpernickel bread. Not only that, but she polished off her story by producing concrete proof. He sent us a handmade Christmas card from Paris, Grandma said. I've got it tucked away back there in my cedar chest. Today, I keep the card and its envelope between two pieces of acid-free mat board wrapped in all rag tissue paper. Someday, when I can afford it, I'll have the card and envelope framed side by side. Both have turned light brown with age. Both are slightly brittle. The ink on the envelope looks chocolate rather than black or blue, and the handwriting is Baroque with flourishes, a relic from the days when penmanship was not only a course in school, but a matter of personal pride. The upper right corner of the envelope is missing. No doubt my grandmother clipped the exotic stamp and gave it to some young collector. The card itself is a 5 by 7 inch sheet on top of which is glued a smaller 3 by 5. Pressed into the smaller sheet is a woodblock print of Mary and her infant son, who are being visited by some shepherds and their sheep. The draftsmanship is less than brilliant. The baby Jesus looks more like a 2-year-old than a newborn. He seems sort of muscle-bound, and he's got a thick black shock of hair. The shepherds appear to have tonsured haircuts, so they resemble monks. One of the sheep could easily be taken for a dog. The other looks like a small cow. The third man in the picture might be Joseph, or he might be a wise man offering some sort of incense. Or he could be a servant holding a bowl of steaming porridge. It's just not entirely clear. But the composition is very pleasing, and the picture has a lovely silvery look as if it had been done with ink and soft gray pencil. The print has been signed in a small, sharp hand, and underneath the print, Matthew 7, verse 12, has been written in French. In English, that passage reads, Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. The back of the card is signed Joyeux Noël from Knut and Colette Heldner, Paris, 1929. This fragile Christmas card is my family's one thin, tenuous, but genuine connection to the glamorous world of Paris in the 20s. It also serves me as a kind of totem, a reminder that authentic art can be produced even in places as provincial as Duluth. For Knut Heldner returned from Europe in 1932 and made many fine paintings here over the next 20 years, winning acclaim in places as far away as Chicago, New Orleans, Stockholm, and Paris. Contemporary painters, writers, and composers hard at work in the heartland can take encouragement from Heldner's example. I sure do. And I like remembering that immigrant artist's kindness in sending a hand-fashioned Christmas card to my grandparents, lo, those many years ago. Heldner could not have known that his small act of generosity would also be a kindness unto me 2 generations later. But so it was, and so it is. And so I have been moved at last to write this rather lengthy and belated Christmas card to a minor Swedish-American artist, dead for 44 years, in a futile but sincere attempt to return one kindness for another. For this is the law and the prophets.
Christine Pfeiffer Stocke coming to you live virtually from Ignite Studio and other places. So let's talk about the holiday season that is upon us. It is going to be a stressful holiday season, but not for the normal reasons. This year is bringing us all kinds of challenges. So my job as a yoga instructor is to help you guys find a peaceful way to cope with some of the things that we have been facing and will face in the upcoming holiday season. So please come to a comfortable seated position. Hands can be on your knees, palms up or palms down, whatever works for you. Lift up through the spine. Take a nice big inhale. Close your eyes, exhale, and then repeat after me. Ho, 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 let it all go. All right, open your eyes. So when we are faced with different scenarios that are going to test us when it comes to stressfulness, that is the mantra I want you guys to use. So let's practice this a little bit. I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios, and we're going to see how this works. Scenario number 1. We're going to talk about a topic that has literally divided a nation, that has pitted husband against wife, sister against brother, families, friends. It is divisive and it's not cool. And I'm talking about the Tiger King. I'm talking about people that are Team Carol, Team Joe Exotic. And even though we all know that Carol Baskin did not kill her husband, you still hear people, oh, okay. We're going to ho, 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 let it all go. So here we go. Big inhale. Close your eyes. Exhale. And say, ho, 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 let it all go. Perfect. All right. Another thing that we're facing. It's a problem that a lot of the population is dealing with. And I'm talking about lipstick. We've spent all this money on lipstick and maybe on Juvederm to plump up that pout. And you know what's happening? We can't do anything about it because we're wearing masks. And we know we have to wear a mask because masks are important and everybody should be wearing a mask. But it doesn't help the fact that I look amazing in red lipstick and yet, okay, not going to get stressed over that. Big inhale. Close your eyes. Exhale and say, ho, ho, ho. Let it all go. Good job. All right, last thing. Last scenario I'm going to give you is the Zoom call. Zoom, at first, seemed like a great idea. We could visit with friends and family all around the world. We could go to work without having to leave our home. But then you know what happened? Everybody's trying to be on Zoom and everybody's trying to talk at the same time. And that little yellow window is going everywhere and connections are slow and people are cutting in and out. And you can hear their audio, but you can't see their face. And the next thing you know, they're talking about what room they're in and what's that background. And you're like, oh my God, can't we just have a regular conversation? And you go, You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a big inhale. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to exhale. And we're going to say, ho, 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 let it all go. All right, open your eyes. Yeah, so 2020, stressful, holiday season. It's going to be sad. It's going to be stressful. But you know what? There is a positive side to all of this. As long as we all stick together and look out for one another and do what's right, we're going to make it through this. And we're going to be better and badder and stronger and more close than we ever have been. So know that 2020 is still going to stress you out. And when it does, take a big inhale, close your eyes, exhale and say, ho, 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 let it all go. So you guys, from your gangster rapper here, I want to say thank you, take care, happy holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, New Year. I think I got them all. Until we meet again.
That's it for day 2. We'll see you tomorrow for day 3.
Ah, can't